Ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman right here has a big week on the horizon coming up. Wednesday, you're headlining Hot 97's Who's Next Live.
Yep.
Chicago's own Rocky Fresh in the building.
Yes, sir. What's going on, man?
MMG's most newest signee.
True.
I did not realize that when you look on the associated acts on the Wikipedia page, there's always an interesting thing here. Tell me if this is accurate. We know some are. Rick Ross.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense. Wale, Meek Mill. Okay, these make sense.
Yeah.
That's all accurate.
Definitely.
But then you get to Patrick Stump and Good Charlotte.
Yeah.
And that seems interesting.
Yeah.
What's the story? Those are associated acts. That's accurate.
No, those are my brothers. And the way it happened, I dropped this mixtape in 2010 called The Other Side. And just the way I grew up, you know what I'm saying, and me moving from the city to the suburbs, I gained a great appreciation for like alternative rock music and things like that. And one thing that I was big on was sampling, you know, a lot of rock music to make the tape and add more so of an urban feel to it. So when I put the tape out, that was my first time being picked up on blogs outside of Chicago. And Patrick Stump, he's worked with Kanye and Lupe in the past. And so he's also from Chicago, so he saw my tape on one of the blogs. I think it was Too Dope. And he downloaded it and really just respected, you know what I'm saying, the spin that I put on the rock music. And then the same thing with Good Charlotte. Their older brother saw me perform at a show in New Jersey called Bamboozle Festival.
Of course.
And he called his brothers and was like, man, you guys got to fly this kid out.
It was like in Back to the Future when he was like, listen to this.
Yeah, exactly. And then I got off the stage and he was just going ham. And I was like, man, this is a little, you know what I'm saying, a little weird, but I got back to the crib and they followed through. They hit me up.
Chicago's sort of an interesting place. You know, like it's all over the place right now musically. It's probably most defined by the Chief Keef. How do you feel about that movement? And also, do you feel like that's representative of Chicago music, or do you feel like that's more the exception to what a lot of Chicago hip-hop's like?
One, you know what I'm saying, I got a lot of respect for their movement. You know, they just young dudes like me trying to make it, you know what I'm saying, from whatever circumstance they was in. So I definitely got respect for it. And I just feel like, you know what I'm saying, that's one side of the fence. You could kind of see that with the artists that came out before, with Kanye, Lupe, and people like Twista. We've always been able to give just the world these interesting perspectives, you know what I'm saying, on life. And right now, you know, Chief Keef and Lil Reese and Lil Durk and Louie and all of them, they're telling the world their perspective. For me personally, I kind of started rapping and got my fan base in Chicago a little bit before that movement popped, so my sound is a little different. But I always like had respect for what they do, and it's definitely reflective of what's going on in Chicago. If you look at the news, we got young people dying every day due to the stuff that's going on in the streets, and so they're kind of just the voice of that right now.
I remember being surprised, fairly surprised when I heard that Ross had tapped you to be the next cat to join MMG. How long a process was that in happening? And tell me specifically about the moment that you first heard from Rick Ross.
Earlier, you know what I'm saying, in 2012, I kind of got myself into a little legal situation that restricted me from being able to sign, so I had to wait till after April 12th to be out of a contract in order to make a move with a major. And with that, it just kind of slowed up the process. As far as the first time that I heard from Ross, I actually put out this video for the intro of my Driving 88 mixtape called Into the Future. And it was a video that we worked super hard on. We did about 12 edits for it. Spiff, who's the head A&R from MMG, he saw the video on one of the blogs, hit me with a DM, asked me if I was signed, and I let him know about my little situation. And then I actually came out to New York and went to Casey Veggie's show.
Mm-hmm.
And I performed there. And I guess, you know, they seen some of the pictures on the web or whatever. And they ended up hitting me that night and was just like, man, Ross wants to meet you on Monday at the Take It to the Head video shoot. You free to come out to L.A. So, you know, I was like, all right, cool. Like, you know, I'm definitely down to meet Rick Ross. But it was crazy because that Sunday night, you know, Diddy hit me as well and was like, man, I know you coming out here on Monday, you know what I'm saying, to meet with Ross, and I want to meet with you on Thursday. So if you could stay in L.A., you know what I'm saying, some extra days we can get up. So then I was like, man, you know.
How weird is that? Does he call you direct?
Yeah, he called me direct.
So you got your number from Ross or something, or Ross's people?
He got my number from, because one of his A&Rs was out in Chicago, and they came through the studio. And I guess, you know, they passed on the contact. So.
And so you literally answered the phone, and he's like, "Yo, this is Diddy."
Yeah. He was like, "What's going on, Fresh? It's Diddy." I was like, "What?" That's crazy. So yeah, that was a situation that was on the table. And, you know, me being 21 years old and always looking up to both of those dudes, my mind just got to racing. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I was super appreciative. And when I met with Ross, you know, we first met in this hotel room. We just had, you know, a man-to-man conversation. Same thing with Diddy. I went out to his crib and, you know, we just really talked about kind of more non-business stuff, you know what I'm saying? We was just seeing how we related, and I related to both of them dudes a lot. Ended up kicking it with both of them a lot before I signed, but it was just Ross's take on my records and just, you know what I'm saying, the way that he was willing to work out the situation that I wanted to do, and yeah, he just created the right format for me, so that's why I went that way.
Wow, it's pretty crazy. I mean, for all the kids who dream of making it hip hop, to be, you know, to actually get those phone calls and be like, "Hey, I'm going to have meetings now with Diddy and Ross," is a bizarro situation. So, what's your plan now? You drop a mixtape Monday. When will we get an album? Where do you get in line in the MMG line of albums? Because there's a new Wale that's gonna come. There'll be another Ross album in 2013. Stolly hasn't dropped.
Yep.
So where do you get in line? Do you have any idea?
Well, I mean, my sound is real different, you know what I'm saying? So depending on how things go after this mixtape, I could definitely fall in line, and I think that's, you know, more so the plan is to just fall in line where the project fits, where my sound and music fits, you know what I'm saying? And me personally, with the stuff that I make, me coming from Chicago, and as far as that being a cold place, and that's where I record most of my music, I really like dropping a lot of my projects in the wintertime because they fit that vibe. So, I mean, you may be hearing the album, you know what I'm saying, next winter.
That would be the hope. That would be your ideal.
Yeah.
The buzz on you is great. I'm excited to see what Wednesday night is like at SOBs. Excited for the mixtape. His name is Rockie Fresh. Appreciate you coming through.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Good luck, man.
Thank you, man.
Chicago, stand up.